How's it going, everybody? It's Ethan, or Unknown Coder, and welcome back to another devlog. So the last few episodes have kind of been slipping away from what I want to do artistically, so we're going to kind of switch things up a bit, and here in the next few episodes, we're probably not going to have the same exact episode structure as the same one before, or so on and so forth, just because I want to test some things out. So last episode I said we're going to go ahead and take a look at building our tree and everything, but if we go ahead and hop on the computer in a little bit, you're going to see that we have tons of work to do in the tokenizer still. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to work on that now and just get it over with. It's just a bunch of grindy work. It just needs to be done. So let's go ahead and hop right in. Before that, as you all know, I'm Ethan, or Unknown Coder. I work as a trainer to train software developers on my day job. And while I'm not training, I am working on projects like this or playing video games. So check out my other socials and things like that. So let's go ahead and hop straight into the video and let's get coding. Before we get too deep here, I want to take a look at what we have. We take a look at our tokenizer class. Essentially, the tokenize and the consume next character are fine, as well as with the emit. However, the change state is still pretty barren compared to what we're going to need. So right now we have all of these states right here. So this still goes down for a couple hundred lines, as we can see. However, if we take a look at our HTML page, and if we go into the tokenization, and take a look, these are all the states that we have. So we've barely touched the surface of the states. So for this episode, I would like to go through and just get all of these states figured out. It's essentially not going to be super hard work for the most part. There might be a couple snags here and there, which I'll take a stop and take a look at with you guys. But I just want to get these done. So let's go ahead and start coding. The first little section here, I think, is going to be some speed coding. Are you enjoying the content? Maybe learned something new? Please make sure to hit that like button below if you are in fact joined, or if you're not, go ahead and leave a dislike. Also, if you have some feedback, good or bad, I would love to hear it in the comment section below. All user interaction helps me out a ton with this YouTube algorithm. So while you're at it, also make sure you hit the subscribe button below. It's free. And if you hit the bell icon, you can also give you alerts when I post new content like this. So let's get back into the video. Alright everyone, so we're hitting that point again where this tokenizer class is getting very unwieldy. And I think that I missed a couple things here and there whenever I first set it up. So I'm going to stop recording for a little bit, and I'm just going to ponder and kind of think about how I can start refactoring this. And I might just go ahead and start refactoring off camera, but I am going to come back with a little bit of an update in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But I think what I want to do is try to figure out how I can essentially pull out this entire method right here. I want to essentially make this method its own class, and maybe each one of these their own classes. We have a lot of duplicated code. So for example, and our standards and stuff are kind of whack right now because we haven't been coding on this for a while. We're doing stuff like this a lot, and there's a lot of stuff like this right here that we're doing over and over again. So I kind of want to go through all of this, consolidate some of this code into either into the util class that we have here. Oh, that's not it. Into the util class. Where is that util class? Oh, either into like a util class here or something of that sort, because we're doing a lot of stuff. I was going through, and now I apparently need a current end tag and a last open tag. So that's something I didn't know about. We also needed some sort of buffer and some other stuff. So I'm going to go through read closer and do some refactoring and hopefully get this to the point where it's a little bit better structured once again. I knew going into this project that it was going to be a lot of trial and error. So let me go ahead and fix that up. I'll be back with you guys after we have a nice pretty looking project again. Now before we start completely cannibalizing our classes here, kind of what my thinking is we're going to have this state manager class, and this is going to be essentially the giant if statement is the giant switch statement, and all this is going to do is it's going to say if we're in the data state, and we're going to call some method from, for example, the data class. So that's all we're going to be doing. So now we're going to be cleaning up hundreds of lines of code out of this, and all we'll call inside the tokenize is essentially this dot state manager, whatever this is called, so on and so forth. So this will probably be our biggest class. and it should only be a few hundred, maybe like 300 lines long, if that, because all we're going to be doing is calling methods that are elsewhere. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. The problem is that we're going to have to change around a lot of stuff. So for example, we should probably inject this and some other stuff. So I'm probably going to do some like configuration and things like that. So I'm going to try to make some changes and see what I can figure out here. This is a component, so we should be able to just auto wire this and so on and so forth. But I'm going to need to make a bunch of changes. After I kind of figure this stuff out, I might do some more live coding, or not live coding, but sped up coding. So I'll see how I feel about it in a little bit. Good news, everybody. After a bunch of head scratching, I finally figured out how we can go through this logic. So let's go ahead and let me switch over to my other screen. So like we saw last time we did an update, we are going to be working now inside this tokenizer state manager. And tokenizer, what's going to end up happening is I just have it on the test because I don't want to deal with the tree builder, but we'll essentially just loop through while the HTML iterator has next still. One of the issues that I was going to run into was that, as you guys may know, whenever you pass in a property through a method, it's actually passed by value rather than passed by reference. So we need to be passing around or using the same exact HTML iterator. Otherwise, it's never going to stop, because if you're using a reference, it's not actually going to update the true one. So what I went ahead and did is I made a singleton class. I know there's probably a way to do this with Spring, but this was the easiest way for me to do it. And we just have an iterator with characters that we can set, which is what we do whenever we do this. So of course, whenever we're actually calling this, I'll probably set it inside of the actual tokenized method. From here, we have this abstract class called state logic. This is holding some of the default configurations that we might want, or default methods. For example, almost all of our logic for our state manager is going to use consume next character. So what we do is we pass in if we want to reconsume, and then the current input character. If we don't reconsume, then we'll just go ahead and return the value of the next character inside the iterator. Otherwise, we return the current input character, and that works fine. And then of course, we also have the emit. This is just adding to the emitted token queue, which is being watched by the tree parser. And then here is where our actual logic is. So this is where we're going to be doing our business logic. This is going to extend our state logic that we have right here. And then here we just kind of do our checks like we were inside of our tokenizer class. So now instead of our tokenizer class having all of this stuff that you see here, this tokenizer state manager is going to have lines that look just like this, and so on and so forth. And then finally, one last thing is I went ahead and started to store all of the data for our tokenizer just inside this tokenizer state object. This helps us pass around data a lot easier than what I was trying to do originally. So for example, we have access to the state, return state, to reconsume, all of this stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to set these as we go through our logic. So for example, here we have tokenizer object.set return state, and we return state to data like we're supposed to, and then we also set the state, and then we send this back. And then inside of our tokenizer, we can look at this, and if we need to grab any information out of it, we can. Let me scroll all the way back up. Otherwise, we can just call current state. So what we'll end up doing is we'll say current state equals this, like that, and then kind of loop through until we get through that. So I'm going to put some more work in real quick, and I'll be back with you guys with some updates. Alright everyone, so we're back. I just wanted to show you guys that we have finally made it back to the point where we were whenever we started the video. So again, we made the tokenizer class way smaller. Before this was like 500 plus lines long, so now it's only 92, which is great. Of course, we'll get rid of this and essentially replace this while loop with this while loop up here. Again, we're going to deal with that later. We also kind of brought all this stuff in here. We're going to be working more on this a little bit later. Our state logic is kind of our abstract class. I probably could have added like a logic method here, which I don't know yet, we'll see. And then of course we have our tokenizer state object. So what we're going to go ahead and do, just to show you that it works the way that it did previously, is we're going to run this postman command, which makes an HTTP request to basic HTML. Grabs that data, and what basic HTML is, it's just this. This has a doc type, an HTML, a head, and a body. So this is just going to show that we can go ahead and parse all that out, or tokenize that, so we can go ahead and do that. As you see, we get back the HTML. If we go back into here, you'll see that we emitted a type closing tag, and if we go through all of this real quick, you can see we start out by consuming the first one. We get all the way to doc type. We consume all the doc type characters like we're supposed to. We get to a space, which would be like the name, so on and so forth. So we're going through all these, and then we emit our doc type token like we want to. Then we move out to data. We do some new lines and stuff like that. For some reason, the data is not working. I need to look into why this isn't getting set correctly or not being printed correctly. But if you see here, we get the opening HTML tag, which is correct. So if we go back here, next after the doc type is an open HTML. And then we'll go through here again. Data is not working for some reason, but we're in the tag open. We emit a head tag, which is correct. Then we should emit a head closing tag. So if we take a look over here, you can see head closing tag. And then we should get an HTML tag. If we look into here, we emitted a tag of type body. All right, I missed one body. We should get a closing body tag. We scroll down a little bit, closing body, and then of course we should get a closing HTML. So we have completely tokenized this. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is here for the next 3 or 4 days, I'm just going to throw on some videos in the background, and I'm going to try to get through as many of these guys as possible. So we have like 80 of these. I think we have 8 out of 80, so 10th of them done. If I can just get to like 20 or 40 done before I need to upload this video, that'd be great. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this into time-lapse mode, and I'll see you guys with all the stuff that I have done near the end of the episode. All right, everybody, unfortunately I lied a little bit in the last video. I just got done editing, and unfortunately we're kind of out of time for the day. So next episode, I am going to be showing you guys my progress that we got with the tokenizer class, or the tokenizer state manager class. However, this episode we need to wrap up. So again, I want to thank you all for watching. I've been having some great feedback for these episodes and everything, so thank you so much. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. That way you guys don't miss any other videos like this one. That way it does better in the algorithms. Stay tuned for more videos like this and Minecraft. With that being said, that's the end of the episode. Thank you all for watching. It's been Ethan or Unknown Koder. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day.